If you're wondering what the future holds for AMC's The Walking Dead in the wake of the Season 8 finale, you are definitely not alone. One thing is certain though, according to The Hollywood Reporter's Josh Wigler, virtually all parties involved agree the show is about to undergo some serious changes. One of those changes comes in the form of showrunner Scott M. Gimple handing over the reins to Pamela Yang, and Gimple has told THR this: "The show will evolve in a huge way. What the writers have planned, it just feels new. It feels like an evolved show. The past 8 seasons very much lived in the world that Rick began with. It was so informed by the pilot. It just takes this quantum leap forward in the stories we're telling." If you're intrigued but not yet caught up with the latest season of The Walking Dead or the comic books themselves, now is the time to cover your ears and avert your eyes, as there are major spoilers ahead. For those of you who have read the comics, you might already have a sense of what's coming next, says Wigler. A leap forward in time as Rick's community becomes much more advanced than its current iteration. But will the jump actually happen on the show? Gimple and his team aren't revealing any of those specifics, but most signs point to at least a version of yes. With that in mind, Wigler has compiled a list of other burning questions about how the series plans to approach the comic book's milestone events. First up, the Whisperers are a group of survivors who blend in with the dead by wearing suits made out of human flesh. How fashion forward. They are also in possession of a weapon far more deadly than Negan's lame old baseball bat. We're talking an entire herd of walkers. According to Wigler, Gimple has stopped short of confirming their presence in Season 9, but if the show goes according to the comic script, we have just found our next big bad. One of the standout scenes in the Season 8 finale was surely Maggie, Daryl and Jesus plotting to sabotage Rick's plans to keep Negan alive. In the comics, Maggie eventually gets her shot at Negan, but in the end, leaves him alive to wallow in his misery. This plotline is up in the air for a few reasons, not least because it's yet to be confirmed if Lauren Cohen will be returning next season. If she doesn't, says Wigler, Maggie's vengeance storyline may be over before we know it. Daryl, a pirate? Yes, please. Okay, some backstory. Michonne and Ezekiel are together in all-out war, and after a time jump, it turns out their relationship hit the rocks, leading Michonne to turn to the sea in search of others who survived the apocalypse. On the TV show, Wigler points out, Michonne and Rick are happily together, so it's unlikely she'll follow the same route as in the comics. Unlikely, but not impossible. However, Daryl could be a contender for the role, as could Carol, thanks to her closeness with Ezekiel. And finally, speaking of Michonne, it's time for another spoiler alert, and this one is huge. Are you ready for it? In the comics, Rick and Andrea are together, and she dies during the war against the Whisperers. If Season 9 does go a Whisperer war, does that mean the end of Rick's TV partner, Michonne? Here's what Josh Wigler has to say. Considering the fact that Denai Guerrera's career is currently skyrocketing, it's not an impossible scenario to fathom, even if it's a painful one to consider. But hey, at least you have more time to keep kicking ass as a Okoye, which is some consolation. But there are a lot more burning questions where those came from, so head to thr.com/walkingdead for much more coverage of everyone's favorite zombie drama, and let us know what you think Season 9 will bring us in the comments. For the Hollywood Reporter News, I'm Lindsay Rodriguez.